And many of you have been attacked and called vicious names for being willing to speak out for what we all believe in. The conservative movement.
That was President Trump encouraging young black Americans to openly embrace their conservative values and to never let Democrats bring them down. My next guests, they were at today's Young Black Leadership Summit at the White House, and they are here right now with their stories on why they're supporting this president and why they're supporting his policies. Megan Harris and David Harris Jr., good to see you guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Trish, for having us.
Did you have fun today?
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Truly historic. Absolutely.
What was so amazing about it, David?
You know, to be around so many other like-minded black Americans. I've been a very active and outspoken proponent for Donald Trump and his administration since before he won the election. On all my social media channels, I'm constantly sharing and talking about the positive strides that he's making for the black community. And I normally, to be honest with you, I'm normally berated and even challenged. Your clip actually leading into this was perfect, because I know Megan has as well. I've received so much negativity from black Americans over my stance for Trump that it's really been disheartening, but it's a fight that's worth taking on. So to be around so many other black Americans wearing their MAGA hats, chanting and shouting and appreciative for our president was just truly a blessing. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, Megan, what do you say to other African Americans that say, you know what, I can't possibly support this president because I don't feel like he believes in me and my community? And then you see, of course, the mainstream media constantly painting him as a racist, suggesting that he's got all these dog whistles out there to white supremacists, etc. You know, that kind of groupthink, doesn't that kind of get to you at times? I mean, what do you say to those people?
It definitely does. It honestly saddens me knowing that the mainstream media has this whole narrative, and it seems like it's taken over. And, you know, this is why I do what I do, because I believe so strongly in it. And I really believe in helping people open their eyes and becoming ultimately free thinkers and looking at the facts and the evidence and knowing that this just simply is not true.
You know, President Obama today was out speaking, and my good friend Lou Dobbs, I think, referred to it as an ego trip. But he was, I call it, you know, it's sort of a revisionist history. The president, former president, trying to suggest that he is the reason for the success we're seeing right now in the economy. And it's his policies, to which, and I won't bore you with all the reasons why it's not, but it's definitely not, because I covered those 8 years as an economic correspondent, and I can tell you his policies did nothing for our economy. But David, we're now looking at the lowest level ever for black unemployment, and minorities, I think, are responding to this because we've seen the president's poll numbers and likability ratings soar among the minority community. Really, just within even the last several weeks, we've seen a big uptick. What is it that you think black Americans are realizing right now?
Well, I think it's exactly what you said. It's jobs. It's an increase in their tax returns. I was actually speaking to a woman I called at GoDaddy over my website, and she talks to a lot of people on a regular basis, and she actually shared that she did not vote for Donald Trump. She is a part of the black community. She said that her tax return was over triple what it was the previous year, and she's constantly talking to veterans that are calling in, talking about how much better the VA is, and she's hearing all the positive things that are taking place. But she said for herself, it was seeing the triple in her tax return coming back to her from the feds that made her say, you know what, I've got other friends that are seeing these increases in their bank accounts and their checks and tax bonuses from their companies as well. And I think that's what's waking black Americans up.
I think it scares the mainstream media and it scares the left because, you know, he went after a lot of traditional blue-collar voters that had voted Democrat for years in places like Pennsylvania, and he got them. And they are very fearful that he's going to get many members of the African-American community as well, people that historically have always voted for Democrats. Kanye West has been a big supporter. He was there in the White House most recently. The media went nuts. They criticized him up one side and down the other. Oh, I believe they called him crazy, too. We've been talking about how much they like to label people crazy. What did you think, Megan, of Kanye?
I think it's wonderful. It's so beautiful to see someone so publicly and openly advocating for free thinking. I think him just being so public about it is helping more Black Americans look and kind of be open to the idea of conservative ideas. I know people even in my own life that have looked at Kanye and been like, wow, you know what? I'm actually going to look at, what he's saying. And I think that is truly, truly just, it's a historical moment. I think.
Listen,
what we're saying.
I think
he
we
gave
can.
Black Americans the opportunity to think again and to
That's
think for
great.
themselves.
Thanks so much,
he
guys.
gave us an
It's
option to do
good
that.
to
so
see
it was
you
amazing.
tonight.